So we're being asked to differentiate this following function, okay? Now, what's kind of tricky is that there's this little 2 here. What does that mean? Well, if you have like sine 2x, another way of writing that is by saying sine x all squared, okay? So another way of rewriting this equation is by saying this is differentiating. And if we have it like this, 40, oh, apologies, I've been using x, but let's use t, plus 5, and that's all squared. Okay, so we can see that it's a function inside of a function. We'll start from the outside. On the outside, it just looks like this. I want you to differentiate just something like x squared. Super simple, right? If you differentiate this, awesome, that's just equal to 2x. But what we're saying is, hey, there's not just an x there. There's all of this stuff here. Okay? So this screams out us being the chain rule. If you haven't practiced the chain rule before, I'd strongly recommend going to previous questions and practicing it because trig sometimes gets a little confusing. First step, we're going to write out the chain rule. I like writing it out like this. We've got some function on the outside, like f of x, and we got some function in the middle, like g of x. And if we differentiate this thing, all right, if we differentiate this, then we get g of x, as in the stuff in the middle. This is our stuff in the red, by the way. That gets differentiated. And then we differentiate just the outside one. So the stuff, which I'm going to put in the green, it's kind of like this. So if we remember we were saying about that x squared, and we differentiated it, and we got that equal to 2x. Well, now we're going to plop g of x, which is our function here, right? G of x is equal to, oh, g of t in this case, 4t plus 5, okay? So now this stuff in green is going to be 2 cos 4t plus 5, okay? So you see it's like the function on the outside, which is like the f. That's our f bit is the x squared. And then when we differentiate that, we just want to differentiate the outside bit. But now we have to figure out what this function here is in red, okay? And we can do that by differentiating this equation. Okay? So now what we'd like to do is differentiate it. The first step when differentiating cos is we swap it. They swap between sine and cos, sine and cos. So step number 1 is we're going to say what is our value, and this one will be sine. Step number 2 is the guts of it will have to be the same. So that will be 4t plus 5. Step number 3 is saying what will the sign be at the front? Will it be a positive or a minus? And we can remember this by writing this phrase, DC is worse than Marvel Comics. Okay? Differentiating cos gives you a minus sign. Integrating sine gives you a minus sign. In this case, we are differentiating cos, so we get a minus sign. Lastly, it's another chain rule, okay? Because we've got a function inside of a function here, and that is represented by this purple stuff in here. So we have to differentiate that and put that on the outside. So this is quite a complicated question because it's a function and a function and a function, like 3 times. That's why it's confusing. But we've broken it down. We've got half of it. We've got this half all sorted. And now we're just finishing this bit. So hopefully you realize that the number to put out here is a 4. Okay? Because we have to differentiate the guts of it here. And when you differentiate 4t plus 5, you get a 4. So now putting it all together, we can write the final answer as saying minus 4 sine 4t plus 5 multiplied by all of this extra stuff. Okay, so this is our final answer, and we can simplify it a bit further. This is a non-calc question. We can simplify this one a bit further. So we can say that this is the differential of cos t 4t plus 5, really running out of space. All right, so this is all equal to 4 times by 2, which is minus 8, and then sine 4t is 5, and then we can write the cos. Okay, so that there is our final answer. And if you got that far, great job.